My life is planned 2 years ahead of time. These are the words of Taylor Swift. In January 2020, the documentary PR film Miss Americana was released on Netflix. Its goal was to humanize Taylor and reveal her real personality and real opinions. Most importantly, it demonstrated that Taylor desperately wanted to improve her public image and be seen as more down to earth. She really wanted to reduce the number of people who didn't like her. She didn't want to deal with media drama about her being this unlikable pop diva anymore. She didn't want to be seen as inauthentic and selfish. The 1989 era was a double-edged sword. It made her a global superstar, but it also made her disliked on the internet. In 2020, it was obvious to her that she was at an important crossroads in her career. She had become one of the most influential people in America due to the viral power of her messages and of her voice. She had the power to reach the hearts of millions of followers. But to more effectively harness this power, this gift, she had to change herself in order to move forward. At nearly the same time as Miss Americana, a great global pestilence occurred that took the lives of millions of people. We all lived through it. It created a worldwide depression that would last for years. In response, Taylor canceled her tour for her seventh album, Lover. She retreated to her studio with her creative team and started developing a new album in radically different conditions. This new album would become her eighth album, Folklore. It would become a career-defining album that dramatically increased Taylor's status as a creative artist. It changed her personal image and propelled her forward into even more massive popularity. It gained her millions of fans. For many Swifties, Folklore would become their favorite album. It demonstrated a qualitative increase in the spiritual and poetic value of Taylor's work. In Folklore, we have another paradigm shift that was in tune with the depressed, shattered state of the world. Taylor dropped the pop star glamour and started cosplaying as one of the long-suffering common people. The many rather than the few. She did her hair herself and started wearing rural American clothing. In a flash, she transformed into a country white woman. From upstate New York, Maine, Vermont, and other quieter parts of the country. This was a very clever disguise. It could not have escaped her attention that a movement called Cottagecore was gaining massive popularity on social media. So what was Cottagecore? Cottagecore was an ideal sought mostly by white women. It was about rural living with style. Not just on farming and gardening, but also rural clothes and crafts. People wanted to live a simpler, more carefree life, and away from the sickness, the high stress, and the pollution of the cities. They wanted to escape corporate America for rural America and live off the land in a sustainable way. It was half a fantasy, like a Thomas Kincaid painting, but it also revealed what was missing in so-called modern life. These people in their hearts wanted to escape the hellscape of the global depression and into the area of the spirit and the great outdoors. They wanted the life of contemplation. Taylor Swift and her creative team knew this and acted on it perfectly. For this new album, they switched musical styles from pop to indie and electro folk. Finger-picked guitars, piano, and muted percussions. For years, Taylor's narrative voice was that of a socially active and privileged white woman in her 20s. In 1989, she embodied the emotional state of successful young people, the hormones and the hot red blood of youth. Winners feel like they can live forever and have a fast life with a lot of action and not too much thinking. Relationships come and go in the world of Sex and the City because there always will be more. In contrast, in Folklore, the narrative voice is suddenly much more mature. It's the voice of someone who's been profoundly hurt in relationships, and also the voice of someone who doesn't live a fast life in New York City. It's the voice of someone who has a lot of free time to think a lot and walk around the woods. It's also the voice of someone who values relationships highly and has room within herself to experience and feel deeply about it. She uses this new perspective to focus and deep dive on the details of intense romances. There's an added layer of complexity over her previous albums. Taylor says that the core theme of Folklore is conflict resolution in the middle of relationship trauma. It is, in her own words, trying to figure out how to get through something with someone. In contrast to previous albums, there's a lot more contemplating and fantasizing about all sorts of escapes into fantasies and a new emotional reality. Nostalgia is a key feature of these songs, and so are all sorts of fictional characters. Songs Cardigan, August, and Betty features a love triangle. The one is about a love that could have been, but was destined not to be. The song Illicit Affairs is about infidelity, and My Tears, Ricochet is about a love-hate relationship. It is apparent that this new voice of Taylor Swift has mellowed out and become more reflective about the things she's done and the way she's lived. It is the same voice that wrote her most meaningful and best song, All Too Well. Thanks so much for watching. Please help out this channel by liking, subscribing, and ringing the notification bell. And check out the playlists. Comment below on what you think about Taylor and her music.